This is part 3, section 5 of our Vectorworks 2021 drafting tutorials. In this section, we'll work on creating focus points. So before we hang the lights, we're going to tell Vectorworks where they're going to be focusing. This is also going to walk through laying out what our acting areas are going to be, like we've talked about in class. So we need to create a new layer for our focus points. So we're going to come up to our layers icon next to the drop-down menu and click on that. And it'll open up our organization window. I'm going to click on soft goods just to highlight that. And this is going to tell Vectorworks where to put the new layer in the stacking order. So I'm going to click new down here at the bottom, which gives me this new dialog box. And I'm going to call the new layer focus points. And we'll click OK. And we've created a new layer. Now it appears down at the bottom in the organization box, but you can see in the stacking order, it's actually number 3, so that's going to be fine. We'll click OK. And if we open up our navigation palette, we'll see that in fact our focus points layer is active, and it's the 3rd layer in the stacking order, so we've created it correctly. So now we need to start drawing out our acting areas that we then create focus points out of. So once again, I'm going to zoom into our drawing origin, 0, 0, where center line and plaster line intersect. And I'm going to activate the circle from our basic tool set, shortcut key 6. And in my toolbar, I'm going to confirm that I am in fact in radius mode. That's what I want to be working with. So I'm going to click on our origin, click once, and drag out to start my circle. Tab into my floating display bar, and I'm going to make a circle that has a 5-foot radius. Click to complete, and there's my circle. That represents one of my acting areas. It's not quite in the right position where I want it, so we're going to go ahead and move that up a little bit. So we're going to grab the bottom center smart point of it, clicking on it and holding shift and moving it straight up till it intersects the downstage edge of our apron. And that's where we're going to want that area to be. Once we've got that, we're going to go ahead and duplicate it to create more of the areas. So with it selected, I'm going to say Command D to duplicate, Command M to move, and I'm going to move it 6 feet on the x-axis and 0 on the Y. I don't want it moving up and down at all. Okay, and then it creates a new circle for me. I'm going to do that one more time, so I'm going to Command D and Command M to duplicate and then move, and click OK, and then it adds in my 3rd acting area. These are going to be symmetrical, so I'm going to go ahead with this selected, just hold shift and click that 2nd circle, select my mirror tool from my basic tool set, and I'm going to mirror those across center line, holding shift to lock that direction into place. And now I have all 5 of my downstage acting areas. So I'm going to go ahead and create the next lane, which is actually only going to have 4. So I'm just going to select these 4 acting areas, and I'm going to duplicate them. And then I'm going to move them, and I'm going to move them 3 feet on the x-axis and 7 feet on the y-axis, and that'll position them kind of in a pyramid style in my next lane. I'm going to do that once again, but again, our upstage acting area is only going to have 3 layers, so I will select these 3, holding shift and clicking to select all of them. And I'm going to duplicate and move those, again, moving them 3 feet on the x-axis, 7 feet on the y. Okay, and there's my last 3 acting areas for a total of 12. Deselect that, and then I'm going to go to my lighting tool set. So I'm going to select lighting to make sure I'm in the correct tool set, and the third option down is focus point. So I'm going to select that. That's the new tool that I'm using, and I'm going to select the center of my downstage left circle, my downstage left acting area, and I'll click once. It's telling me it's going to place a focus point. Its name is going to be A. That's perfectly fine. The focus height is 5 feet, which is also correct because we're focusing lights at a person's head, not at the floor. So we want to make sure that all of our blend happens 5 feet up in the air so we don't get people walking through dark spots. All of this information is good, so I'll click OK, and it creates my focus point A. So I'm going to repeat this process, moving stage left to stage right, and then upstage from there to create all of my acting areas alphabetically, sequentially. So focus point in the center of my circle is B at 5 feet. Okay. And I'm just going to continue on. Now, the last thing that I'm going to do for this is get rid of the circles representing my acting areas. I've got the centers of them all marked out with my focus points. So I'm going to click and then shift click all of the circles that I have made and delete them, leaving only the focus points. Great. I'm actually going to save this as a new file now. So we're going to come up here to File and Save As. And I need to navigate to where I want it. And I am going to save my new file as Vectorworks Tutorial 3 and my initials. Great. So that's all saved as a new file. That's it for part 5 of, or section 5 of this tutorial. In section 6, we'll finally get to placing lighting instruments.